I'm working on the 1970s Gibson SJ-200 Artist. My normal method of installing frets is to hammer them in. There are other ways of putting frets in which are, in isolation, better, but all of them have difficulty getting all of the frets on an acoustic guitar. But hammering in the frets can cause chipping and cracking with heavy inlay, so on a guitar like this, I try to avoid it. There are a bunch of different tools for pressing in frets. I've tried most of them. For this guitar, I use two different StewMac pressing tools. For the neck, the one based on a vice grip pliers, and the one based on a bar clamp for the fingerboard extension. But that did still leave 3 frets which I could not reach with either pressing method and had to hammer in. With great care, of course. The fret ends are then filed flush to the fingerboard, and the frets are leveled and crowned. When doing a refret, you are almost always going to be putting in taller frets, so it is necessary to raise the nut. You can do this either by making a new nut or shimming a nut. Shimming a nut sometimes gets a bad rap, but when done properly, with a shim made of bone, the same material as most nuts, it allows us to maintain the original part and still get the height of the nut correct. I use a 40 thousandths shim glued to the nut with cyanoacrylate, filed flush with the nut, and then I sand the shim down to a more appropriate dimension. I aim for the slots to be fairly close to the final height. I spent most of my life adjusting nut slots by eye, and while I have switched over to a dial indicator, I like to adjust them in a similar manner which isolates the nut slot height from the rest of the setup. I do this by pressing down on the wrong side of the second fret, which creates a straight edge between the second fret and the nut. I can then measure the height of the string off the first fret, which gives me a good idea of the height of the nut slot. I aim for 4 to 6 thousandths of an inch above the first fret. It is best to have the truss rod adjusted correctly first. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Check out the website for t-shirts, and come in on Saturdays for same-day setups. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, and enjoy your guitar.